Hey everyone, Lawrence Mack here, founder of Real Estate Rookies and realtor out of Toronto, Ontario. I'm so happy to have Ricky Carruth here. Hey Ricky, how you doing?
What's up, man? Good to see you.
Nice to see you, man. I'm just so excited to have you here. You have no idea how happy I am. So Ricky Carruth is out of Gulf Shores, and he's been real estate agent for a long time. Also does coaching, that kind of stuff. Wanted you to share your story about your career and especially your rookie year.
Yeah, absolutely, man. 100%, man. Like I say, good to be here. Thanks for having me, all that good stuff. So, started selling real estate in 2002. I was 20 years old, and what a roller coaster it's been, right? Uh, the market's, been up and down, and I rode the whole thing, man, from top to bottom. I got in right before the market exploded, rode that wave, made a lot of money, crashed, lost everything, went bankrupt. I was sleeping on friends' couches, sleeping in my car, all that good stuff. And, I just decided I wasn't going to quit and just kept trying to figure things out and learn. And, as a rookie, it took me 8 months to make my first sale, so some agents come to me after 3 months, complaining and crying and like, okay, and then I have agents who, I sold 4 properties my first year. And I have agents who, come to me and are upset and disappointed about selling 13 properties in their first year. It's a crazy world, so.
Yeah, you can tell more about your rookie year. It's some people always have the question part-time versus full-time, and you were working like a dog.
Yeah. Like, so when I got in, I literally just told my dad, okay, Dad, I'll see you later. I'm retired. I'm not going to roof anymore.
Yeah.
I thought I was done with roofing. So, I went to the office and I worked at like a job. I was there 8 hours a day. I was doing everything I was told. I was trying to learn everything I could learn, really put the hours in and make it happen. And after 30 days, I didn't sell absolutely anything. So I had to go back to Dad and say, Dad, I think I need to, because I had bills I had to pay. So, so I went back to roofing. So I literally did real estate for 30 days, sold nothing, learned a lot. Those first 30 days, I learned a lot. And I'm happy I did that, but I did go into it thinking I was going to start selling stuff right away, and that's just not the case. That's just not the case. So I went back to roofing. And so now I'm roofing 6 days a week, really hard labor on the roof with sun beating down on you.
Yeah.
And so, it was tough, because when you're 20 years old, you want everything right now,
Mm-hmm.
and 8 months, right? 8 months thinking, man, is this my last day on the roof? No. Is this the last day on the roof? No. Is this the last day on the roof? Is this the last day I have to work on the roof? So, it's look, this success is tough. Okay. It's not easy. It's great when you get there, and, when you get to a certain level, and you learn what momentum is, and you learn how to create momentum and ride momentum, and you learn how to do things more efficiently. You have a nice personal brand in place. You have people coming to you that want to do business. It does get easier. It's always hard work. But, in the beginning, you can doubt yourself. You can become very frustrated at times through the process of trying to get to that first deal. So a lot of times, 90% of agents don't make it. That's the stats. If you can get to your first deal, you have a good chance of making it. You're still not out of the woods yet. I know a lot of agents that got to their first deal and still ended up quitting or not making it because they do their first deal, but then they didn't do a second one, basically, or they did a second one, but it was months later, and then they just couldn't hang in there. So it's a tough business. You have to be in the top 10% to even survive, much less make it at a very high level.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be the top 1%, let's say, the top 1% of people who actually get their real estate license to really succeed at a high level. So 1 out of 100. So you look around at your classroom of 50 people and you know that statistically nobody in the room is going to really succeed at a super incredibly high level.
Yeah.
A half of one of those people will succeed at a super high level, so it's I love the challenge, I love the challenge. So I sold my first property at those 8 months. The very, very first property that I sold was actually my grandmother's condo, right?
So, me too. It was like my cousin.
Yeah, it's kind of
that's
a
my
gimme,
first deal.
kind of a gimme kind of deal. But the cool thing is I closed on my grandmother's and my first real client. I closed on both of those deals on the same day. So my first closing was actually a double closing that day. And, I started selling 2 a month from there. I was able to get off the roof and I said, I'm going to give this a chance. I said, hey, if it does, I closed on those 2 and I said, I'm going to go, Dad, I'm going to try this again. And if it doesn't work out, I'll be back, So, the good thing is, what I find tough is when I see new real estate agents who are older or have like a family, like a young family that they're trying to support. That's tough.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine that, going through the uncertainty and the self-doubt and the frustration while raising a family. I was 20 years old with literally just maybe a car note and some car insurance and a cell phone bill. I couldn't imagine having to go through that with the responsibility of, raising children, so yeah, it's a tough situation, but very rewarding.
Yeah, for sure. And you, at the beginning there, while you were roofing part-time, a lot of people always have the question of what were you doing during that time? It's not like you're making calls in the morning or in the afternoon because you're on the roof.
Handwritten letters. I did some calls when I could. I definitely made some calls, but I got my first listing from a handwritten letter, and hand wrote the envelopes, hand wrote the letters.
So direct mail.
Direct mail. Yeah, direct mail. And I suggest that. I tell all my part-time agents that, especially the ones that are working hard labor, don't really have any days off. I mean, you can't come home at 6 from working all day and then crush the phones. Okay. I mean, you're tired. You're not in the right mindset. You can't talk to people about real estate, plus you have other household duties and stuff. So, it's tough. Yeah, sure. But here's the bottom line, right? Winners just make it happen. Mm-hmm. Right? Winners make it happen. That's the bottom line of this whole thing. That's the moral of the story. People that are winners, they're going to win and they're going to find a way to win, and they're not going to make excuses, and they're not going to say, well, I have this job or I have, I have this or I have that. Everybody has this and that, mm-hmm. They make it happen. And they are patient, right? Because I think that's part of the problem. If you are that single mother trying to make it in real estate, or a father with 3 kids and all the responsibility in the world, hey, yeah, listen, you can make it, right? You can make it. The punchline of it is it might take a longer. Right? It may take a lot longer than you want, a lot longer than you think, a lot longer than what people tell you, but you can make it. If you're 35 and your dream is to become a real estate agent at 35, and you have a family, and a full-time job, okay? Let's say that you just have a vision that you want to make this happen over a 5-year period. Everybody's trying to go full-time real estate in 6 months, mm-hmm. in a year, right? I mean, and then if they don't make it in 6 months to a year, they chalk that up as a failure. Okay. Look, what if it just took you 5 years to transition from your full-time job to being a real estate agent. And from 35 to 40, now you're 40 years old as a full-time real estate agent with another 20 years worth of a career in your life. Now you got a 20-year career of real estate ahead of you, which you're probably incredibly grateful for after leaving your full-time job, whatever that was, right?
Yeah, for sure.
People who don't give it a chance. 6 months or a year, if it doesn't work, they're done. Look, guys, closings happen every single day, right? The market is resilient. Okay. There's no need to give up on something that is as certain as real estate, right? I was talking to an agent yesterday in Canada, and this agent, was just telling me how bad it is and how these real estate agents are just doing really bad, from everything that happened last year. And there's so much uncertainty. And I said, wait a minute. Let me try to help you here. At the end of the day, she didn't listen to me, but I was trying to tell her there's so much certainty, right? Because it doesn't matter about all the outside factors of the business, of the world, of politics, of supply, demand, interest rates. Who cares? Right? We're real estate agents. None of that affects us. Our job is to help people buy and sell properties, which happens every day for the rest of our lives. And it has every day of our lives up to this point. So why should we care? Okay. My question to the world is, why should we care about what's going on outside of our business? Right? Our business, the core of our business should be, how many people can we help today? Okay. People are buying and selling properties. I hate to break it to you, but people are buying and selling properties every day, left and right. All you have to do is look in your county records, look on MLS. The data is right there, black and white.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in Toronto, they say it's not great, but it's like 100,000 transaction resale and another 50,000 condos or something. I mean, that's a lot of transactions, Definitely got to look at the long game, right?
Okay. Multiply that times 2.
Yeah.
Okay. That's how many clients, that's how many opportunities there were for you that day in that market to represent someone buying or selling.
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to go back to the thing that you have, which is the weekly emails. I mean, nowadays you can pretty much easily do that, constant contact, that kind of stuff. I want to go back to when you decided to start sending out weekly emails and the amount of work that you put into it. Compare with today when everyone's just whining about, oh man, I got to send out another newsletter. I mean, anyway, there's a lot of people who whine to me too, so I just ignore them.
Yeah. So like how I came up with a newsletter and everything I do. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Just like, when did you start? And
yeah, for sure, man. So in 2007, about mid 2007, I decided I was going to try to get back into real estate. I was working on the oil rig at that time. And there was a gentleman that had closed 30 deals the year before, which was 2006, which was one of the toughest years. 2007, I believe, was the actual complete bottom in terms of transactions in our market. The 2006 was pretty bleak. I mean, it was pretty bad. I mean, that was the year that everybody had gotten out of the business. 2005 was the year everybody started splitting from the business around here. By 2006, there were very few agents. And this guy's sitting here selling 30 properties, right? Three a month. Okay. And I'm working on a roof. Okay. Trying to find a job on an oil rig, serving tables at night. Okay. Sleeping in my car, and this dude's selling 3 properties a month. And this happened to be my mentor from day one at the first company I worked with. And so I went to him. I hadn't talked to him in a while at that point, and I went to him because in the beginning, when I got in real estate, he shared with me. He was the only one that really shared the nitty gritty of the business with me, like how to find property owners, how to get their numbers, what letters and postcards to write, what should be the strategy with the direct mail. When you call, what's the scripts? What are we trying to do? How do we do it? Tone, body language. He showed me all that stuff, right? And really worked with me for no reason, right? He didn't get anything out of it. He was just a good friend and still is a good friend to this day. And So I went to him in 2007 and I said, man, I know we hadn't talked in a while, but please tell me what you got going on over here, man. What's going on? You selling 3 properties a month. I'm sleeping in my car. Let me know what's up. And he said, yeah, come over to the house. Come over to the house and let me share everything with you, what I got going on. So I go over to his house one day that next week. We sit down. In the beginning, it's like letters, postcards, emails, phone calls, right? So we sit down, years later. That was 2002. Fast forward to 2007, we go to his house, we sit down, and he teaches me the new secret, right? Letters, phone calls, postcards, emails, right? Same thing. Nothing changed,
New secret.
right? Nothing changed, So when I got back and I realized that, it kind of brought me to life, kind of thing, kind of shocked me back into it. And I started to realize that it's a people business. It's about staying in front of people and helping people. Transactions continue to happen. And it started that was kind of the beginnings of me realizing that it's about relationships, not just the deals, but we have to really help people because people are going to continue to buy and sell. So through that, I just started my journey and I started reaching out to people, right? I just started reaching out, seeing what I could do to help. And I started to build a database. And somewhere along the lines, really late 2007, I heard it so many times. So I was just listening to my clients. I heard it so many times. They would tell me, because there were so many foreclosures, they would tell me, hey, Ricky, send me a weekly list of foreclosures. I heard this 40 times, literally 40 times. And I just heard it over and over again. And I started to develop this list of people who wanted a weekly list of foreclosures. So I would send this weekly list of foreclosures every week to this list. And eventually I was like, you know what? I bet you everybody wants to know about these foreclosures, not just the people that are telling me they want to see, but maybe I should send this to everybody because these are really incredible deals. There were like 40 foreclosures, on the market at one time in my market. Now I'm in a small market. And so that's where it all began, man. I started sending a weekly list of foreclosures to my clients, right? And eventually all my clients. And I just continued doing that email like that. And I would also include what I think about the market in there. And I would include nice little marketing things and stuff about me. And I would it was more than just a weekly list of foreclosures. And so as time went on, 2008, 2009, 2010, and the foreclosures started dwindling down. And as the foreclosures dwindled down, I continued acquiring more prospects and more clients, and putting them in this database to get this email of foreclosures. And slowly it morphed into just a market report. As foreclosures went away, it just turned into what it is today, just a market update from your friend and real estate agent, Ricky Carruth, and here's what I think about the market and let me know if I can help you. So that's how it all came to be, man. I'm just listening to my clients, what they wanted. I gave it to them. And then I had the realization that if that's what they want, I want to give it to them. And if that's what they want, I'm sure everybody else wants it. And then I just continued. What I didn't realize was that was the beginnings of my efforts towards building a personal brand in my market. I had no idea, right? I'm just trying to give my clients what they want and stay in front of people, and I didn't understand personal branding, the way that people understand it today and how mainstream personal branding is, so yeah, it is literally the lifeline of my business. It's all I do at this point. I don't do social media. I don't make cold calls. I don't do open houses. I don't do anything except for the weekly email, and I take care of my past clients and referrals. That's all my real estate business consists of, at this point in my career.
And the main reason for that is because it's leverageable. Is it because it's really hard to call up 10,000 people?
Yeah. Like I have 12,000 people that get the email up to this point. 5,000 open it up every week. Okay. I can't call 5,000 people. You can call 5,000 people, but not when they're past clients and referrals, because they want to catch up with you for 45 minutes a call. Okay. You'll do good to call 2 or 3 a day in in an hour to 2 hour period,
Mhm.
right? It's not like cold calling when the average call is 2 to 3 minutes, and you're blowing through numbers. You can dial 100 numbers in an hour to an hour and a half, but when you're calling past clients and referrals, you'll talk to, you'll probably dial 5 or 10 at the most, within an hour or two. So it's a different ball game, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the email, when I create the email, I design it, and it has my personality behind it. It has what I think, my opinion, my 2 cents, things that I think are interesting. And so it gives them a little bit of me, a little bit of my personality, not just these drip robotic emails, right? That are just cold and have no substance at all. Okay. That's not developing a relationship with your clients, So yeah, there's definitely an it factor, to it.
And even starting out, then you were hitting like 100 email an hour limits or something like that when you were
Yeah. When I started out, I was doing I was doing Yahoo, and Yahoo lets you do 100 recipients per email 5 times an hour. So you can send out 500 per hour. 500 per hour.
Yeah.
So I literally I had Outlook at the time, and I had it set up to schedule, and I had them all set up where it would shoot out 5 emails that already had it all set up with 100 people in each email. It would shoot out 5 every hour. And I would just let that computer run all day and all night.
Wow.
Just shooting out emails. Yep.
That's the kind of work it takes to succeed versus nowadays, just press a button and then the drip campaigns just goes, and then, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's old school versus new school, right? So I think I'm one of the dangerous guys most dangerous, sales people out there, because, when I came up in sales, there was basically no technology compared to what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
I had to build my business on complete old school techniques, right? And I was very successful at that. However, now I've built a multi-million-dollar business on new school techniques and technology and communication. So I have experience of building a, 7-figure business with both complete old school techniques and new school techniques. I'm literally the best of both worlds, kind of combined into and morphed into one sales superhero kind of
One
deal.
deadly superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So is a mentoring from your previous friend there, is that one of the reasons why you started Zero to Diamond, or is that just some other thing that you wanted to do?
No, that he would have never encouraged that, right? That was just man, here's the thing,
Or tell everyone about the Zero to Diamond coaching group.
Well, here's the thing. When I decided I want to write a book, and I decided I want to share my story, okay? There's a lot of coaches that sold property 2 years, sold 19 properties, and are selling courses for $1,000. I get in the business, I make a meal, I lose it. I come back 6 more years later after grinding, I sell 100 properties, right? Then I sell 100 properties a year for 3 years in a row before I even think about writing a book, right? I want to make sure that I actually know what I'm talking about. So I start writing the book, and the whole thing for me was that once I sold 100 properties a year for 3 years, I just felt like I had climbed that mountain and I was at the top, and, I was just looking around like, okay, what's next? What's the next mountain to climb? I'm a climber. I can't just climb to the top and just sit up there and start, hanging out. I got to find another mountain to climb, and writing a book is not easy, right? Writing a book is extremely difficult. So I wrote 2 books that year, 2017. And I started doing my social media stuff and coaching, and I eventually became the world's first completely free real estate coach course, 90-day action plan, contact with me, the whole 9 yards. And, it's really taken off, and it's been an incredible journey helping these agents all over the world. I've got agents all over the world. There's 40,000 agents total, over 40,000 agents in the program and growing. growing by 100 a day, 100 agents a day around the world sign up for this program. And it's transformed thousands of agents' careers, doubling and tripling their income year over year. I've got thousands of testimonials. So it's humbling. It is very humbling, man, to get those messages of people who are taking something, just something that I said and then using it, and it creates income for their family. It's humbling to think about all that stuff,
Yeah, touching a lot of people's lives. What's the vision for that? Or do you have a grand vision for that, or just one step at a time?
Just to be the most influential person in the game, to be the most influential person in real estate, to build such an empire and movement, around, relationships over transactions, that generations after me, generations and generations can succeed and realize that closings do happen every day, right? And there isn't any uncertainty with the real estate market. People are scared to get in the business because they don't want to lose that consistent paycheck, and it's like, you could get laid off from that job. Okay. You could get fired, you get laid off, anything could happen. That company could go out of business. But when you're a real estate agent, you are the master of your domain.
Mm-hmm.
And closings are the most consistent thing that I've ever seen. Okay. Closings are the most consistent, thing that happens that I've ever seen, so people just need to realize how and be confident in, the real estate industry, as a whole, and really commit and go all in. So I just want to create a really incredible legacy of the guy that just wanted to help the industry and make the world a better place.
I think you're doing a very great job of that. What kind of tip would you give a rookie? Someone just starting out first year, what's like the first tip you'd give the person?
Well, everybody's situation is different, I really like to dig into everybody's situations and see what's going on with them, their strengths and weaknesses, their schedule, how much time they want to allocate to real estate. There's a lot to unpack, when you think about it, but just generally speaking, I think that they should really embrace the philosophies I've shared today, and understand how really solid this business is. There's nothing to be worried about in terms of, is the market this and is the market that? That doesn't matter, right? Our job is just to help people, right? And people are always going to buy and sell properties. History has shown that time and time and time again through the scariest moments, through the scariest moment last year in the last 100 years, right? One of the scariest moments in the last 100 years. 80% of the same amount of people who were buying and selling last year were still buying and selling during that complete shutdown. No human-to-human contact. People are still not only closing, but also putting properties under contract. 80%. Okay. I mean, 80%. Okay. During one of the most scariest moments. So I don't know. When you look at that and you look at how solid the fundamentals are of the real estate industry right now moving forward, I'm very excited about the market. And I think newer agents or brand new agents should be very excited. Here's what I would say. Okay. I don't know their situations. I would love to hear about their situations. If you are a new agent, reach out to me on Instagram. I will answer every message there. Reach out there and tell me your situation and let me help you through it. But at the end of the day, let's just put it like this. Generally speaking, a new agent comes into the business and they have a goal of, say, 20 deals, right? Let's just say 2 a month, 24 deals. They want to do 2 a month. 4 months goes by, they really work hard and nothing happens. They don't sell anything and they think they're defeated, right? They think that they're a failure. There's no way they can catch back up and close those 24 deals, okay? Because 4 months have already went by, not even a single deal, and they're like, there's no way I can hit my goal now. But here's the thing for a new agent. Generally speaking, you may get a couple deals in that first 6 months, but generally speaking, most all of your deals are going to get lumped into that second half of your first year. Okay. The second half of your first year. I've seen this story over and over and over again. Okay. I've watched this play out many, many times. Okay. your deals will get lumped into that second half of the year. And depending on how hard you work for free in the first half of the year is going to determine how many deals you close in that second half of the year. Okay. So, I've seen agents go and sell nothing for 6 months and then sell those 20, 24 properties in that second half of the year. I got a guy right now doing it. He's in the middle of doing it. He's 9 months in. He has 5 closings, 12 active listings, and 7 pending deals. March will be his first full year in the business, right? So I need to get with him and see where his numbers are right now and see where he's going to end up for March, because he didn't sell anything for the first 6 months, right? And he has, again, 5 closings, 7 pending deals, and 12 active listings.
Wow.
Right? This is massive. This is massive. And so he went for 6 months with nothing, okay? And he could have quit. He could have threw his hands up, threw the towel in, said, adios, this isn't for me, right? But he didn't quit. He understood what we were doing here. We're building a business. Building a business doesn't necessarily mean transactions. It means how many people in the market know who we are, right? So your entire mission needs to be not to sell properties, but to see how many people in the market you can let know who you are, what you do, and that you're here to help. And grab that contact information, do your weekly email on the same day of the week forever to show consistency, hard work, dependability, honesty, right? And then you can actually build a business that you can see where you're going to be in the next 5 years on top.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's real simple. People are like, tell me the secret, Ricky, and I'll tell them what I just told you. And they're like, okay, but what? But tell me this. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but there's no real, it's really this simple, to be honest with you. It's really this simple. One thing that I've found is that successful people make things very simple. And the more complicated people make it, the lower producing they are. The more complicated they make things, right, the lower producing they are, the more negative of a mindset they have, the more simple someone makes something, right? It seems like to me the more successful they are.
Got another quick question about a lot of rookies always come up and say, I'm afraid to make phone calls. I've heard you talk about this on YouTube. What would you like to say with someone with that?
I mean, there's 2 roads you can take, right? You can either make the calls or you can just go find another job, right?
Yeah.
Because my question would be back to them is what else are you going to do? And what would their answer be?
They would say, I email people and text them.
Right. You email people and then what?
And then I text them and see what they're interested.
Right. Okay. But once you get a good answer there or get somebody that does this or that, then what?
I guess I got to talk to them.
you have to get on the phone with them. Right. Now what you said is exactly what everybody else said. It doesn't matter what you say. I don't care what your answer is about what else you're going to do besides make calls. It's all going to come back to making calls every single time. Social media. I'm going to do social media. Okay. Go get social media leads. And then what are you going to do with them? Well, I'll put them in my CRM and let it cultivate them and nurture them and all that stuff. Okay. And then what? Right. Eventually you're going to have to talk. There's not going to be a transaction. Out of the 1,000 deals that I've closed, I really thought about it hard. And I know there's one deal that I did where I didn't talk to the person at all. They emailed me. They were overseas. They wanted to sell this property. We electronically signed. We did everything. We negotiated by email. We closed it by the whole thing. I know for a fact I did one that I never talked to them, but I think there were maybe 2, okay, at the most. And I don't know about that second one. Okay. I can't remember exactly. It was kind of foggy, kind of hazy about this a long time ago. So out of the 1,000 deals, I'm looking at one for sure that I did. And that was just somebody that was overseas kind of deal, I mean, you have to talk to people before a transaction is going to happen. They have to feel you, they have to get comfortable with you. They have to see, you handle yourself, you know, how you talk. Are you nervous? Are you confident? They don't know any of that stuff through text or email. All right. And that's why people are texting and emails, because they're hiding behind technology because they're scared to show who they really are. Right.
Yeah.
But that's where they're gonna win or lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So last question. So after
let me go back to it, because I didn't answer the question, right?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What I would say to people who don't want to make call. Well, I mean, I kind of did answer it. What else are you going to do? You're going to come right back to the phone. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what lead source you generate. You're going to have to talk to them. Why not? Okay. If that's the secret and that's where transactions come from, actually talking to someone on the phone, why not just sit in a room and just call people all day that own the exact property you want to sell? And you can do this for 2 cents a piece.
Right.
Why wouldn't you do that? If conversation is the key to all closings, why not just have as many conversations as you can? If you're going to do that, why not have those conversations with the highest quality prospects available? The property owner who owns the $500,000, $1 million, $2 million house that you want to sell, and get their information for 2 cents and call them up just to make friends forever. When somebody completes a transaction and you ask them how they pick their agent, the most common answer is, I had a friend in the business. So now we know that the objective is to make friends with as many property owners in the market as possible. If you're not making calls because you feel a little uncomfortable, you're letting yourself down. You're letting your clients down that you might have called because they need your help. People need your help buying and selling properties. They don't want to do it on their own. They're using agents. Why not use you? You're the best choice, right? You're the hardest worker. You're honest. You're dependable. You want the best for them. But you're letting them down because you're not calling them and asking them if there's anything you can do to help them. You're letting yourself down. You're letting your family down. You're letting everybody down, your coworkers, your broker, everybody. When are you going to get tired of letting everyone down and just say, you know what? I'm just going to call people and I'm going to build my business.
For sure. You got that. Last question. So after the rookie year, you've been doing this for a few years, you have a good sense of how to do transactions, that kind of stuff. What do you think is the next step?
Say again, you cut out.
What do you think is what do you think is the next step for an agent who isn't really in the rookie year, maybe 3 or 4 years in? They have a good sense of the landscape, but they're not doing like amazing, but they're doing okay. You really want
to take a look at your database. Okay. How many people in your database, and what are you doing to stay in touch with your database to build your brand with those people in your database? Okay. Because that's the foundation of what you have going on, whether it's past clients or referrals or people you cold called or people you met or whatever, and you put them on your database. What are you doing to stay in touch with them to build your brand? How are you going to make it to where they never forget who you are? Again, I'll go back to the weekly email. Okay. That's my machine that allows me to do that. I get 90% organic reach on my emails versus social media is 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%. I get 90%, which means they see it in their inbox. 90% of the people see it. It's an impression. So what is your machine? Okay. If you're second year, third year in the business, you're like, okay, how can I take it to the next level? Okay. What is your machine that allows people that you talk to never to forget who you are? That's one thing. Okay. Let's get that in place. Secondly, what machine do we have in place to get in front of and talk to real one-on-one conversations with more people who we can make that great first impression with to get into our database? So we need to rise the number of people in our database, right? Right. So that's going to be, say, once you've created such a brand in your market with great first impressions and weekly emails, it comes to a point where you don't have to worry about trying to go get any more people to put in your database. You have so much repeat and referral coming from your database and your weekly email that you don't have to worry about where business is coming from anymore. I stopped doing everything in 2017. And my business has continued to produce 100 deals a year ever since, because I got my database up to that point. So everybody has to just continue pushing to build that database and get that database up to the point of the income that they want per year. And then they can just focus more on the database and the people within.
That is an awesome answer. Well, I think our time is pretty much up here. Is there any final words you want to say, Ricky? And how can people reach you?
Best place to get me, maybe Instagram. That's where I answer all my messages at Ricky Carruth. ZeroToDiamond.com is a free coaching program. Yeah, just reach out. Let me know how I can help you guys. I'm here just to help you. There's no courses, there's no upsells, there's nothing to sell you. Just purely just purely trying to help you guys. So
Just giving back.
Feel free to reach out.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time, Ricky. Really appreciate it. Again, I'm Lawrence Mack, founder of Real Estate Rookies and realtor out of Toronto, Canada. Thanks a lot. Bye.
See you, man.